And good morning. I'm beginning this video purposefully at 5:55. The title today is Ninth Wave, Who or What is in Control of the Occupy Movement? 5:55. This is quintessential information. Folks, this game of matrix that we are in is all about control. Make no mistake about it. Every one of us needs to understand what is happening. It is either spiritual awakening, which means taking personal responsibility, or it means becoming more enslaved than ever before to a system in which freedom cannot exist. We need, as one master once said, to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Yesterday, I listened to Tim Turner's interview from a few days ago, in which he said that the Occupy movement is actually being controlled by some very powerful people whose mission has long been to take control of the entire world and to create human enslavement at a level unimaginable. And my first reaction to Tim Turner, for those of you who don't know, he is the President of the Republic for the United States of America. My first reaction was, you're crazy. This is a spiritual movement. It's not something that's rising from some control management game of an elite. No, this is a people movement. And then this morning in meditation, as I was pondering these things, I began to have another idea, and as Spirit does in my life, it puts in my path the pieces that I need to consider in order to see more clearly. And as I came to the computer, one of the things that caught my attention first off was a David Icke video created a couple of days ago on the 20th and uploaded yesterday on my birthday. And by the way, I thank the probably 1,000 of people on Facebook that gave me birthday greetings yesterday, and I got four gifts on PayPal yesterday, and now I got a check in the mail, and I had one from the day before. So I've gotten 6 gifts, financial gifts in this period, which is unprecedented in my whole life. I don't think I've ever had that many people in a 24-hour period donate to me, and I'm really grateful for that. But anyway, David Icke made me very aware again, and that's why I knew it was what Spirit was leading me to talk about and put a little bit of a different slant than I was going to put earlier, and that is to be aware that those people that want to run the world, the slave masters, if you will, and let me tell you folks, they exist. This is not a figment of Ron Van Dyke's imagination. And those of you that take time to investigate know that there's long been a conspiracy for the control of the human mind and human consciousness. That's what the battle here is all about. It's not about corporations. It's not even about governments, because they don't care about governments and they don't really care about any structure. All they are interested in is control. Listen to me, folks. That is what our ego has wanted. So it stems from the inside of you and I. When our ego simply wants to be in control of our own lives and our own situations, it wants to be the boss, and it doesn't want to recognize love or compassion or anything that is about interconnectedness with the web of life. It's about separation, and it's separation consciousness' biggest game. It's what the matrix is. It comes from us, folks, and we need to recognize it. The only way we can disempower it is to recognize within ourselves that our essential being is about love, and our essential reality is interconnectedness and unity of life. Life, the cosmos is predisposed toward life. There is a conspiracy toward life by the universe, which is why and where I was going to go. And the reason I was going to go is to get people away from this idea that they, the system, is somehow infallible and omnipotent. It is neither. It is neither, because we aren't. And it derives its power always from us, always. That's the truth. Governments and rulership always comes from the consent of the governed, the consent of the people. And it's been done by not conscious consent, but implied consent. When the government does something and we don't respond to it, they say, okay, they agree with it. That's called implied consent. And we need to understand that that's how the matrix is working. If we're going to take the red pill and go down the rabbit hole, we have to look deep into our own psyche, our own soul. We need to look deep at our ego. We need to look at what makes us tick and how we have long wanted to shirk personal responsibility and give it to somebody else. We do that by blaming people. Well, it's not my problem, it's their problem. They made me do it. They made me feel this way. And we don't take personal responsibility. Do you recognize the picture I'm painting for you? It's about taking responsibility. It's about taking charge of our own lives. That's the only way that we can establish freedom individually in our lives or collectively on the planet. By taking personal charge and responsibility for our own lives. We have to do that. There is no shortcut. There is no, well, we'll let them do it. Because when you let them do it, that's living backwards. That's evil. That's where all the darkness and ignorance comes from, because we don't want to do it for ourselves. And I've been there, folks. How do I recognize this? Because I've been there myself. It's not like I've all of a sudden just come here with all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I'm learning them. That's why I was willing to shift my perception a little bit before my talk today, why I chose to listen to a 30-minute video by David Icke before I even wrote my blurb. Why? Because I want to be guided and I want to be led, and I know that I alone do not have all the answers. And I'm wanting to encourage you, especially to encourage you, to find answers in places that you would not normally be inclined to look. David Icke says MoveOn.org is financed by George Soros and the Democratic Party. Democratic Party and Progressive Party and stuff is not where the answer lies. It's not about beating the conservatives and becoming progressive, or beating the progressives and becoming conservative. That's a false paradigm. That's part of the game that they have us involved in to distract us from the real issue that David Icke pointed out very clearly. The real issue is who is in control. Are you going to take responsibility for your own life? That doesn't mean that you're in control. Although it does mean that you're in control of how you respond and react to the information and events that take place in your world. We do create our own reality in the sense that how we respond dictates our feelings to a large extent. If we take responsibility, we're going to feel better about it, even when we're experiencing negative emotions. We're going to feel better because we're not recognizing the negative emotion as an enemy. We're recognizing it as an ally. It's all in point of view. This is a message that I need to get and that I need to share, because all of us need to understand the nature of this crazy game that we've created, that I call the Matrix, that others have called the Matrix. We need to, what's that? We need to understand these things. We need to come to grips with the fact that we have been living on a slave planet, a prison planet, where we have been manipulated and mind controlled. We need to say, okay, that's true. Most of us, though, our first tendency is, no, I'm free. I'm free. That's not me. Maybe other people are enslaved, but not me. Give me a break, folks. We're all cut from the same fabric. That's why it's quintessential to realize the nature of this drama that is cosmic in nature, but global in application. The global application is a control game. Who's going to be in control? Is it going to be a godless, edging God out ego? That's what ego is, edging God out. That is not based on love and compassion and the essential nature of human beings. It's going to be a false nature created based on competition, based on lying and fraud and massive, massive deception at every level. Which is it going to be? Which is omnipotent for you? Which is all powerful in your life and in your world? Is it love? Or is it fear? If you are afraid, then you're not taking responsibility. If you are afraid and accepting and embracing your fear, you are taking responsibility. Do you hear me? There's fear both ways. There's fear both ways. But in one case, the fear turns into excitement because you realize it's your friend, not your enemy. In the other case, you're afraid that you're going to lose your life. And he that seeks to save his life shall lose it. But he that loses his life for my sake, says God, shall find it. Very basic spiritual principle. What we are willing to lose, we gain. What we try to hang on to, we lose. I'm sorry that it works that way. It doesn't always seem fair. But if you've lived as long as I have and observed as much as I have, you realize that there's truth in that. Hard, cold truth. Are we willing to accept the hard, cold truth that we're given, that we're being shown? Or are we going to continue to be deluded by our own desire to have somebody else give us the answers and take care of us? Don't look to me for answers. I'm trying to get you to look to you for answers, to follow your heart, to hear the voice of your spirit within you, the still small voice of the divine part of you. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what this has been all about. I love you, but I can't help you make your decisions. I can only share with you what I am given to share. And I'm sharing this with you this morning, and I'm asking you, especially if you are part of one of the Occupy movements, in one of the locations around the world, listen to David Icke. The guy's got lots of wisdom. Don't forget what you've heard about him negatively. Of course they're going to talk negative about anybody that tells the truth. Understand that and trust your gut. Listen to your heart, please. I leave you with these thoughts this morning. And again, thank you for yesterday. It was a tremendous gift to me. Maybe I'll share more about it at another time. That's not what was on the plate for today. Namaste.